Hey, it is an unstoppable day. Welcome to 2018. You are made it. You made it across. You made it to another year, a new day, a new month, a new year full of new opportunities to not only just have a great life, but to live the unstoppable life. Good evening, everybody. I'm your host of the Unstoppable Coaching Show, Unstoppable Thoughts by Terrance, this special 11-part web series that we're starting tonight on the 11 key attributes you need to have to live the unstoppable life, beginning when? Right now, here in 2018. So, welcome to the broadcast. As you come in, please come in, swipe, and share. And throughout the broadcast, hopefully, you have your pen, your paper, your recording device, and you can take some great notes. We're not going to hold you long each of these nights for the web series, but we are going to hold you strong. We're going to give you some key attributes, some key skills that you may already have, but hopefully there's some skills that you can now acquire after watching these broadcasts so that you can go out and you can live the unstoppable life. But first and foremost, I want you to, again, come on in, get your favorite beverage, get your favorite pen, paper, recording device so that you can take some great notes. So we want to give you some great information so that you can start 2018 off the right way. So again, come on in, swipe and share. And let me just check a couple of things, make sure that I'm coming through. If you are in the room, why don't you come on and give me a comment? Let me know that you are listening and that you can hear me and that you can see my screen. I would so appreciate that if you were able to do that for me right now. Come on in as I test some things, as we look at some things, as we make sure that our information is going out to the masses. All right, so I see there are a couple of people in. If you could just go ahead and put a comment in, say hello, give me a heart, something. Let me know that you're out there and that you are watching the broadcast and I'm not listening or looking at a couple of bots that are coming up out of nowhere. So, looking one more place, just refresh my screen, make sure I can see it. Because if I can see it, then I know you can see it too. All right, there we are. All right. So, I am Terrance, the Unstoppable Coach Lethbridge. I am your life accountability coach, your professional MC, your motivational speaker, and the host of the weekly TV show called Unstoppable Stories, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. on the West Coast, and in replay wherever you are over the world. I thank you guys so much who rode with me in 2017 and all the years before, and I'm looking forward to having another unstoppable ride with you in 2018. You know, last year I started the year off with the mantra, time to be seen in 2017. And what that meant to me is that it was my time to get out there, to put my name out there, to put my face out there, to put my voice out there, to put my message out there. It was time for the world to know that I was serious about what I was doing with Unstoppable Coaching and all the other things that are part of the Unstoppable Coaching umbrella, with the publishing company, with the book coaching program, with the MC business, with the speaking business. All of that needed to go to another level in 2017. And that's why the mantra was time to be seen in 2017. But now we have crossed over in 2018, and I had a lot of accomplishments. I did a lot in 2017 to be seen in 2017. And I know for some of you who have been following me, you picked up that mantra yourself and you said it was time for you to be seen as well. And I know you had some successes in 2017. So if you're coming on this broadcast and you're one of those people that picked up the mantra of time to be seen in 2017, then I want you to go ahead and put your name and comment on what you did to be seen in 2017 right there in the comment room, and we'll share it with everyone because your successes help with my successes. If there's something that I've said or done that allowed you or motivated you to go to the next level of your greatness, then that just helps me with what I'm doing. Because it's because of you that I'm able to be unstoppable too. And hopefully you see that because I am unstoppable, that you can be unstoppable too. So I see there are a couple of people in here. I hope you'll just go on in. Hey, Anthony Ladson. Hey, Sergio. Thank you guys. Happy New Year to both of you. Thanks for joining the broadcast. Go ahead, swipe and share, swipe and share, swipe and share, and also send me some hearts as we move into 2018 with our new mantra. Now, one of the new things I'm going to do in 2018 is I'm going to slow down because I can talk a lot. I like to talk. I like to speak. I like to motivate. But sometimes I just have so much to say in my head that I just want to get it out. And I got to learn how to pace myself. So we're going to be pacing ourselves on this broadcast tonight, but we're still going to get you and hit you with quality content. So as you see, we are talking about the 11 keys to living the unstoppable life. And over the next 11 days, we are going to get you started on your keys to living your unstoppable life in 2018. And it's based upon my book. Just had to get that water. Based upon my Amazon best-selling book, You Are Unstoppable: The 11 Key Attributes to Living the Unstoppable Life. Now, this book has been out since 2015, but I feel that each and every year we need to refresh, we need to refocus, we need to restart, and we need to go back to the fundamentals, to those things, those attributes, those skills that got us to the level that we are right now, and so that they can propel us to that extra level. We're not living on our laurels in 2018. We're not living on the successes that we had in 2017. We're building on those successes. My boy Corey Briggs, he says, let's build. And so we've built a foundation, and now we are putting the bricks on top of that foundation. And we're building the rooms that are ultimately going to be our mansion for magnificence. It's going to be our sultan of success. Is going to be that edifice that really stands for, maybe not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually. It's going to stand for where you are in your business, in your ministry, or in your personal development as you move into 2018. I'm excited about it. So I'm ready to get on to this ride with you. So tonight's topic, we're going to be picking up on one of the words, one of these skills, one of the attributes to being unstoppable. So tonight's topic is having an unwilling to be a failure attitude. So if you guys have your pen and your paper, get ready, because here's where we start sharing the content. Here's where we start bringing the information. Look, not a whole lot, not going to hold you long, but just some things that you probably already know, but you need to hear again. We say that, we don't tend to do things until we can hear somebody else say it to us. If you say it to yourself, well, you may believe it, you may not believe it, but if somebody else says it to you, then that gives you what they call that, now someone has co-signed on what you're thinking. Someone has given you confirmation of what you may be already thinking that you may need to say or do or be about in 2018 so that you can live that unstoppable life too. And if it's one thing I know, if it's one thing I've learned with dealing with my coaching clients and speaking at different organizations and events and emceeing different events, we struggle with the word failure. We struggle with the word failure. We struggle with the fear of failure. We struggle with everything surrounding that word failure. So we're going to take a deeper look into what it means to have an unwilling to be a failure attitude. And I use the word attitude because it's a state of mind. Failure is a state of mind. There's a difference between the word failed and failure. But so many times when we fail at something, we tend to look at our whole life as being a failure, as opposed to just that one instance of failing at something. But you're going to learn tonight before this conversation is over. And this is a conversation. So I do want you guys to interact with me in the comment room. Leave your comments, swipe and share, swipe and share. Let somebody else know that you're watching the broadcast as well, and bring them in. Somebody who might be struggling with failure, somebody who might have carried that fear of failure from 2017 into 2018. We want to help them move from that past fear into their God-given purpose in 2018. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek about that as we go through these 11 days. But I want to start off by giving you my thoughts on failure. And my thoughts on failure begins with just a quote that I came up with once I really jumped into this book about being unstoppable. And here's the quote: if you're not willing to fail, you're not willing to grow. Let me say that again. And if someone will type that in the comments section, that would be great too. If you're not willing to fail, you're not willing to grow. So many of us in this life, in our keys or in our journey towards becoming personally developed, professionally developed, starting our businesses, starting our ministry, so many of us have not been willing to fail at one or another aspect of that journey. And that has kept us where we are instead of taking us to where we want to be. You see, the one thing I know is that if you're not having any failures in your life, if you're not having any failing moments in your life, then you're not growing. You're like a stagnant, dead tree stuck in the middle of a forest. You're not getting any taller. Your roots aren't going any deeper. You are just there. You're like the person who is existing instead of the person who's living. Now, you may say, well, Terrance, you got it all worked out. You couldn't possibly have any failures in your life. You couldn't possibly be failing at anything right now. I just have to laugh at that because I have had so many failures in my life that I couldn't even list them all. But let me just talk about it. I have failed at relationships. I have failed at sports. I wear glasses. I can't even throw a ball straight. Sometimes I throw at a target and it's halfway on the other side of that target. I have failed in business. I have done network marketing. I've done affiliate marketing. I have done collaborations with other people, and those businesses have failed. I have failed at jobs. I've been fired from 2 jobs in the course of my career. So I know what it is like to fail. And if you're watching this broadcast right now, you probably know what it's like to fail as well. And because you know what it's like to fail, you probably have not tried to do something that you know you need to do in order to get to the next level of your greatness. So let's stop right here and let me just ask you a question. And here's the question: what is the fear of failure stopping you from doing right now? I'm going to take a moment, let that sink in. What is the fear of failure stopping you from doing right now? Maybe it stopped you from doing something last year that you wanted to do. Maybe it's stopping you from doing something this year that you know you need to do. Who's going to be bold enough to come into this comment room and say what something is that the fear of failure is stopping them from doing right now? Let's see. Let's see. Take a moment. See if somebody would be willing. If Anthony is going to be willing. If Sergio is going to be willing. If somebody else who's watching right now, will you be willing to tell us something that the fear of failure is stopping you from doing right now? I'm going to give it a second as we check and look in the room. And we want you to continue to like and share this broadcast. Let other people know that this, we're talking about that unwilling to fail, unwilling to be a failure attitude that we all need to have if we're going to get to the next level of our greatness in 2018. Okay, well, we'll come back to that as we continue to move forward in the broadcast. Please feel free to put in there if there's something that you are fearing so much that it's stopping you from doing what it is you need to be doing right now. Fear, the fear of failure, has stopped me for a good part of 2017 from even doing these broadcasts. I'm doing this broadcast through a platform called Be Live TV. And it is a great platform for broadcasts, for coaching, for seminars and webinars. But for the longest time, I couldn't figure it out. I was seeing all these other people having success using Be Live TV, but every time I went to use it, either it wasn't getting broadcast to the public, or I wasn't getting any comments, and for one reason or another, I just felt like nobody was watching. But it was only until I decided that I was going to get this right, come hell or high water, despite the fear of messing up, despite the fear of getting it wrong. It was only until I decided that I was going to put in the work and make this work that I was able to overcome that fear, and I was able to do a broadcast that we're doing tonight. I had that fear for a couple of years since I became a life coach in 2009. Because when I became a life coach in 2009, I became a life coach because I felt like everything else I was doing wasn't what my purpose was. But I also felt that my purpose was scary. Who was I to think that I could be a motivational speaker, that I could be a professional MC, that I could stand on stages across the country and across the international waters, and people would want to listen to what I had to say? Who was I to think that I could write a book and that people would not only buy the book, but people would read the book? That's where my state of mind was in 2009. In 2009, I didn't think my voice mattered. I had to a lot of people. Maybe it mattered to my friends and maybe it mattered to my family, but to anybody outside that small circle, I didn't feel like it mattered. But there was this calling that was still burning inside of me. And each and every time I tried to do something different, I failed at it because that wasn't what was burning inside of me. I graduated from college with a degree in business, and I went after the American dream. I went after the high paying corporate job. I went after the house with the white picket fence. I went after the marriage with the 2.5 kids. I went after the American dream. Now, I had a corporate job and I lost a corporate job. I had a nonprofit job and I lost a nonprofit job. I had a government job, which was also part of the nonprofit, and I lost that job too, because that wasn't where my calling was. Now, I got the house, and I still got the house, thank God. I've got the marriage, been married for 15 years now. Shout out to my lovely wife, Sharon. Happy New Year to you, sweetheart. And I'm looking for an unstoppable 2018 for the both of us. We didn't get the white picket fence because I'm in Chicago and there just ain't a whole lot of white picket fences here in Chicago. But a lot of the things that I went after, I failed at because those were not the things that were burning inside of me. Does anyone else know? Does anyone else have that same fear of failure? Has anyone else experienced going after the things that society says you're supposed to go after, but failing because you knew deep down inside that wasn't what you were supposed to be doing in the first place? Let's see. Is anyone out there? Let's see. Let's get some comments. See what people are saying. Okay, you guys are shy out there, but that's all right. That's all right. You can keep on being shy. When something touches your heart that makes you want to either answer the question that's up on the screen right now or comment on something that I said tonight, you go ahead and you put it in the room. And even if you're watching this on a replay, you can still comment. I will be checking the comments and I will be getting back in contact with you. But it was that fear of failure that so many times stopped me, even back in 2009 when I made the career change. I didn't go at it wholeheartedly. I really played with it. I played at being a coach. I was doing it and I was pumping my chest that I got the life coaching certification and I had a client and I was happy with one client, but knowing in the back of my mind that one client wasn't going to even feed my family, much less take me to the level that I wanted to go. But I was still fighting that fear each part of the way. But here's what happened. I started having some successes from those failures. And with each success, I was able to build upon the success. And those successes led me to really start talking and writing about those successes. And that led to the book. So the book came about 2015 is when the book came out officially. And shout out to my book coach, Johnny Mack, who's in the room. Start Trying on Purpose. That's what STOP stands for. Thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to give you a comment. I'm going to give you that for about 3 times, Johnny Mack, and then it's going to become mine. So thank you very much for sharing that. But the book came out in 2015, but y'all, I had been working on the book for at least 2011. And it started out as a journal. Just like this. I was writing down my thoughts. I was writing down my successes. I was writing down my struggles and my challenges. And at some point in 2011, I wasn't at the point with this coaching thing where I could walk away from a regular 9-to-5 job and do it wholeheartedly 100%. And I remember standing outside in the middle of the backyard, having my own little conversation, my own little anger, my own little pity party with God. And I said to God, I need you to give me a word that will change my current situation. Because my current situation at that time is that I felt like everything was stopping me. I felt like my finances were stopping me from going to the next level. I felt like my relationship was stopping me from going to the next level because even though my wife was supportive, she knew that it was a strain on the household not having a good paying job, and bills were still bills, and you're still going to have to take care of these things. It was a struggle with my family and my friends because my family and my friends, just like your family and your friends, they know you as who you were and who you are at that moment. But they have a hard time seeing you as who you want to be or who you are destined to be. See, there's this crabs in a barrel mentality that misery loves company. And if you are not the person that they know you to be, or if you're not the person they used to know you to be, then they're going to try to keep pulling you back down so that they can affiliate with the person that they were comfortable with. Oh, people get uncomfortable when you want to go to the next level of your greatness. People get uncomfortable when you want to change the game. People get uncomfortable when you want to do a different thing because you doing your different thing may mess up their good thing. Somebody help me. You doing a different thing may mess up their good thing. And they don't want you to do that. So those naysayers and those dream killers, they start coming in and they start snapping, talking in your left ear and talking in your right ear. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you'll never be that. Oh, you'll never make money at that. Oh, it's too late for you. Oh, you're too old to be doing that right now. What are you thinking? You got bills to pay. All those little things will start jumping into you, and they will help create this fear of failure inside of you. But here's what I want to talk to you about. Here is the tip that I want to give you tonight that's going to break that fear of failure and let you have an unwilling to be a failure attitude. And it's so simple. You guys are going to laugh when you see it because it's just that simple. It's so simple that I just wanted to put it up on the screen. Tip number one: nothing beats a failure but a try. It's so simple. It's so easy. Terrance, it can't be that simple. Yes, it can. No, Terrance, you just can't tell me that try and that's going to be the failure. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Let me go back to the book. I told you I was afraid that nobody would want to hear what I had to say. And so I just kept it to myself. I kept it in the journal. I kept it quiet. I didn't tell nobody about it. Nobody knew nothing about it. Until one day, God put this connection together between me and Johnny Mack. And me and Johnny Mack, we weren't even talking about books at that time. We were just talking about our connection on Facebook. I saw some things he was doing. He had saw some things I was doing. And we decided to reach out and have a conversation with each other. And that's when I found out that, he had wrote, at that point, he had already wrote 6 books. And he was spitting the books out like nobody's business. He was the Mr. Magnificent already at that point. And so I told him a little bit about what I'd been writing and I was and what I'd been thinking. And I told him the conversation I had with God about how I wanted to do something or have a word that would change my situation. And Johnny Mack said to me right there on that call, "That's some good stuff. You need to share that with some other people." And it was, again, as I said earlier, that confirmation that said, this is bigger than you. This is something you can do. Somebody does want to hear what you have to say. Somebody may want to read what you have to write. Try it. Try it and see. What's the worst thing that could happen? And here's my tip: nothing beats a failure but the try. And when you recognize that the worst thing that could possibly happen is you fail, then what do you have to lose? Because here's the one thing I know: the only thing worse than trying and failing is not trying at all. You see, because if you never try, you've already failed. Somebody put that in the comments section. If you never try, you've already failed. There are countless stories of people who just tried and then they amazed themselves at what they were able to do. There are countless stories about there are people who have tried and failed, and what did they do? They just tried again. Success is just the combination of one failure on top of one failure on top of one failure until you succeed. And before we end this conversation tonight, I'm going to talk to you about the success formula. So stay tuned for that. Again, you are listening to the 11 key attributes to living the unstoppable life in 2018. This is the first in the series of 11 webinars that we're going to be talking about the 11 keys to being unstoppable. And tonight we are just talking about having that unwilling to be a failure attitude. You see, I had to learn the difference between failing and being a failure. That all those things I talked to you about earlier about I failed at, many times I considered myself a failure. But I had to see as I got older that those were just stepping stones to where I was today and where I am right now and where I hope to be in the future. Once I realized that I had to fail at those things so that I could see my mind doing something else, then it all became clear. How many of you have been caught up in your feelings because you failed at something and you just automatically thought you were a failure? I had a coaching client once who, because she couldn't find a job, she just spent her days sitting at home watching the TV. And she had 6 kids, but she felt like nobody wanted to hire her. Nobody would ever give her a job. So she became a master of the TV guide. She could tell you what was coming on at any given time of the day on any given channel. Well, back then it was before satellite and it was before cable, so it was just the regular over the air stations. But she knew everything that was on the TV. She was so willing to master that so that she would avoid having to go out into the world and failing again. She had the failure attitude. But I want you to have the unwilling to be a failure attitude. You see, we coached her. We worked with her. We worked with her on her interviewing skills. We worked with her on getting her resume up together. We worked with her on her style of dress and dressing professionally. And we sent her out. We forced her to go out on interviews. And yeah, the first interview she went on, she didn't get the job. The second interview she went on, she didn't get the job. Third, fourth, fifth interview, she didn't go out and get the job, but we kept encouraging her. We kept asking her, well, what did you do in this interview that you didn't do in the first interview? Well, what did you do in the third interview that you didn't do in the second interview? And she was beginning to see how things were beginning to come into play. Well, you know what? I didn't get that interview, but I was able to answer that question. You guys prepared me for that question. Oh, well, I didn't get this job, but they really complimented me on my outfit. They said I would dress professionally. Oh, well, I didn't get this job for this reason or that reason. But then she got a job. And I am proud to say that for the last decade or longer, because we've lost touch with each other, she has been working with the United States Post Office, a good government job with benefits, all because she lost that unwilling to fail attitude and took on that, she lost that fail, a willing to fail attitude and took on that unwilling to be a failure attitude. And she was able to go out there and try again until she actually succeeded. It's such a simple statement, but it's such a powerful affirmation. So whether you put it in the chat room or not, I don't really care. I hope you do, because I want you to share this with other people, just like Marie is sharing it, unwilling to fail, and just like Johnny was sharing it. I want you to be able to say this to other people, because if I say it, it's just me. But if you say what I'm also saying, then it's true. When you try, you may fail. But guess what? You've got the same equal opportunity to try and succeed. So that's tip number one. Nothing beats a failure but a try. So tip number two that I want to share with you. And again, these are all just simple tips. So simple. You probably have already done them. You probably already know them. You just haven't applied them. So here's tip number two. And it's simply called the success formula. And the success formula is just 4 words. And I'm going to say them, and I want you to repeat them after me. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Let me say them again. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. It's almost like a song. Start, fail, learn, succeed. It's a circle. It's a process. It's an equation, whatever you want to call it. But that is the formula to overcoming failure and having an unwilling to be a failure attitude. See, you'll never know if you're going to succeed or fail at anything until you start. Like Johnny said, start trying. And I got to go back and say it. I'm going to learn it, Johnny. I'm going to learn it, what you said. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it. Start trying. What did he say? Start going back. Start trying on purpose. Yes, I love it. Start trying on purpose. See, many of us start something, but we started with that failure attitude, with that failure mindset. So we might start it, but we don't put in that effort. We don't put our all into it, and it's almost like we're just starting so that we could tell somebody else we started, but we really weren't intentional about what we wanted to do. We want you to start trying on purpose, with intention, with your effort. We want you to get in the game. We want you to be not a spectator, but a participator. When you jump in the game and you start going after those goals that you wrote last week or 2 weeks ago or 2 hours ago, when you start putting in the work towards those resolutions with all your heart, mind, and soul, with all your spirit, with all your intention, then you have a 50-50 chance of failing or succeeding. But the formula says that more than likely you may fail at first. And maybe you may fail at first because you don't have all the tools necessary to succeed. Maybe you don't have enough education. Maybe you don't have enough time invested. Maybe you don't have enough money invested. Maybe you haven't invested enough time in getting the money to invest in the start. Maybe you haven't connected with the right people that's going to help you along the way. There's so many reasons that you may start something and then fail. But the failure is number two, because now number three says, what did you learn from the failure? Well, did you learn that maybe you tried to do it by yourself and now you need to align yourself with some other people that can help you succeed, like I did with Johnny Mack with the book, like I did with the coaching organization I'm a part of to get my coaching certification, like I did with my speaker coach, Dr. Ruben West, to help me be a better speaker and MC that I am today than I was back in 2011, 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Maybe there's a lesson that you need to learn from the failure in order for you to be a success. Now, remember the formula: start, fail, learn, succeed. When you learn the things you need to learn from that past failure, then you are that much closer to that future success. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back of the room. When you learn the lessons you need to learn from that past failure, you get that much closer to your future success. Yes, Marie, thank you. Start, fail, learn, succeed. That's the formula to overcoming failure. And that is the formula for success. You know, I've had the opportunity to be the MC for Les Brown on 3 occasions now, back in 2016 and twice in 2017. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was speaking to my speaker coach, Dr. Ruben West of the Black Belt Speakers, and I said to him, you know what? I feel like I'm probably more in the lane of being an MC than being a speaker. And then about a month later, after I said those prophetic words to Dr. Ruben West, he gave me a call. It was Thanksgiving, a week before Thanksgiving, and he was saying, hey, Terrance, I'm doing an event after Thanksgiving. Can you get to Kansas? Sure. Who's the event? Oh, I'm just doing a night with Les Brown, and I want you to be one of my MCs. What? Yeah, I'm doing a night with Les Brown, and we're gonna have a couple people there, about 100, 150, 200 people there, and I want you to come and be one of the MCs. Can you make it there? Wow, 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 wow. Be careful what you say to others, because the universe is listening, and the universe will make a way to put what you want to happen out there. When you are looking for an opportunity, the universe will create that opportunity for you. But here's the one thing you always got to be cognizant of: better to be prepared and never have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. So I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for what I was asking for. And God gave it to me anyway. And I got out there that first time on stage with the other MC, and I felt like I had fell flat on my face. I felt the moment was too big for me. I felt like I wasn't ready for it. And even though, here's the thing, even though nobody said that to me, even though I got good reviews from what I did, I know I didn't give my best. And because I know I didn't give my best, I felt like I was a failure. I didn't feel like I had failed. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like I got my one shot to really go out there and really hit the home run. And I went up to the plate and I struck out. Yeah. But God. You see, God knew that I needed to have that awakening. God knew I needed to have that experience. God knew I needed to be in that place so that I could see that the things I wanted for myself, I needed to prepare myself for. Let me say that again. God knew that the things that I wanted to happen for myself, I needed to prepare myself for. So I took that opportunity and I went back and I looked and I thought about what I did during that session. And I started asking for other MC events here in my hometown and with people I knew, smaller events, so that I could go back and I could hone my skills, so I could go back and I could be more prepared. And God, in 2017, opened up another opportunity for me to be on stage with Les Brown. And in May of 2017, I went to Dallas, Texas, and did an event with Shamir Mallard, where Les Brown was the keynote speaker. And for those of you who don't know, those of you who don't follow me, those of you who may be meeting me for the first time, Les Brown is one of the top 5 speakers in the world. And I emceed his event not one time, not 2 times, but 3 times. Hello, somebody. But I wasn't prepared that first time. I had an opportunity knock on my door, but I wasn't prepared for the opportunity, and the opportunity knocked me down. I started something. I put it out there, but I failed the first time I started. But I learned the lesson from that first failure so that when the second opportunity came back around, and I didn't even know it was going to come back around, but I prepared like it would happen again. I remember saying to myself that first time, because I emceed the event, but I didn't even get a chance to say hello or good night to Mr. Les Brown. I stood on stage behind him, but I didn't get a chance to shake his hand that first time. I stood on stage and introduced him, but I didn't get a chance to have a word with him that first time. See, I had the opportunity, but I wasn't prepared. So I went back and I got prepared. I got prepared for what I would do the next time I was emceeing somebody's event. I said the first and foremost thing that I got to know is if I'm emceeing somebody's event, I'm going to have a conversation with the person whose event I'm emceeing. Yes, I learned from my failures. And when that second time around came, I not only had a conversation with Les Brown, I got to hang out in Les Brown's room. I got the chance to have an intimate setting with Les Brown and really sit at his feet and get all the exposure to this great, legendary speaker, because I failed the first time, but I learned from the failure. So when the third time came around to be an MC at his event, it was like butter, baby. I was at a new level. I wasn't just an MC. I was the TLE experience, the Terrance Leffridge experience. You see, I not only learned from the failure of the first event, I learned more things from the success of the second event. My speaker coach told me that, you know what? It's good that you're emceeing somebody else's event, but they're not just there to see the person whose event it is. You want to make sure that they see you as well. And somebody, that's a message for you in 2018. In 2017, you were just going along to get along. In 2018, you were just there serving others, but you weren't showing yourself. In 2017, you were just playing behind the scenes when the stage was calling you to come out. In 2017, you were behind the camera when it was time for you to be in front. In 2018, you can't play at that same level. In the words of Cheryl Wood, playtime is over. It's no longer your time to be seen. It's your time to shine. And the success formula says you started something, you failed, you learned, and now it's time for you to succeed. It's time for you to move from that past into your purpose in the 2018. It's time for you to have an unwilling to be a failure attitude, recognizing that you are going to fail at some things, but if you start, learn, fail, you will ultimately succeed. And so here's the third tip. And then I'm going to get out of here so that you guys can go on and get started, because it's one thing to get this knowledge tonight, but knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So I'm going to get off of here so that you can go apply some of these tips that I'm sharing with you tonight. And then you come back tomorrow to get some more of this great information, these key attributes to living the unstoppable life in 2018. Yes. Hey, Lisa Adams. Lisa says, preparation for what you desire is key. Yes, preparation for what you desire is key. Johnny Mack says, proper prior preparation produces perfect performance. Yes, the 5 Ps. I love it. Thank you guys for sharing that. Thank you guys for putting it in the chat room. I love it. I love it so much. Let me put that comment up. I love that, Johnny Mack. That's what makes you the wordsmith that you are. That's what makes you the guy that I look to when I fumble all over my words. I look to you. Yes, he says proper prior preparation produces perfect performance. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then let me put Lisa's comment up as well. Where are you, Lisa? Move this up a little bit. Move that down. Thank you guys for joining the broadcast. Go ahead and swipe and share. I know we're not going to be on much longer, but somebody needs, in your circle of influence, needs to hear this message. He needs to hear this message and know that they don't have to have an unwilling to be a failure attitude. Yes, no more behind the scene action. Thank you, Lisa, for putting that in the comment room. I appreciate you so much. Tip number 3. I already told you, nothing beats a failure but a try. That was number 1. Number 2, the success formula, the song: start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Go to sleep tonight with my voice in your head, singing that song to you. But here is tip number 3. And tip number 3 goes right with that song. And tip number 3 says, tap into your inner voice. Yeah. So many times your inner voice is the voice of truth. It is the voice of reason. It is the voice of the Most High God. He is talking to you. He is talking to you when you sleep. He's talking to you when you're awake. He's talking to you when you're driving aimlessly down the road. He's talking to you when you're riding the plane, train, or the automobile in the back seat. He's talking to you, telling you what it is you need to know, directing your path. If you would only just do what my grandma used to say: close your mouth and open your ears. He gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so that you could listen more and talk less. That inner voice inside of you will lead you where you need to go if you just listen. I told you, when I had my pity party with God, I asked him for the one word that would change my situation, that would send me in a 180-degree direction from where I was. And that was from a place of feeling stopped in almost everything that I did. And he gave me the word: unstoppable. Yes, the inner voice talked to me and said, Terrance, you are unstoppable. And he said to me, because because he is unstoppable, that I am unstoppable too. So, what is that inner voice saying to you? What is going on inside your head? What mantra is being shared for you for 2018? What little things is that voice inside of you saying to you, telling you to do right now that a fear of failure might be stopping you from doing? Listen to your inner voice. Your inner voice will release the ideal that you have to do it all by yourself. That inner voice is directing you towards people that you can go to help you get to the next level. That inner voice is telling you step by step what you need to do to get to the next level. That inner voice is advising you who you may need to move away from or where you may need to stop going so that you can get to the next level of your greatness. It's talking to you about those crabs in a barrel friends that you have, or those dream killing family members that you may have that are trying to keep you down here when you know you're destined to be up here. But when you tap into the inner voice will give you guidance and direction that will lead you to the unstoppable life that you are destined to live. So while you're out there trying, while you're out there implementing the success formula, continue to listen to the inner voice of God inside of you. He will tell you where you need to go better than anybody else. And he will tell you who you need to share your dreams with and who you need to keep your mouth closed around. He will tell you who you need to go to get A, B, and C, and who you need to stay away from so that you can utilize A, B, and C to the fullest. Listen to the inner voice. Trust and believe, just like I did. Once I started having that unwilling to be a failure attitude, and I recognized that failure was part of the process. When I understood that failure wasn't fatal, it was just part of the process, I was more inclined to try, knowing that I had the 50-50 odds, the roll of the dice, that I would either fail and then I learned from that failure, or I would be successful right then and there. Tip number 1 of the 11 keys to living the unstoppable life in 2018 requires you to be unwilling to be a failure. Understanding the difference between failing and being a failure. When you understand the distinction, you are going to be on your way to being unstoppable. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for your reactions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for swiping and sharing. And thank you for going along on this ride with me in 2018. No longer wanting to be seen, but recognizing it's your time to shine. Yes, indeed. I want to leave you with one other thing. This was one of my quotes for the day that I want to share with you because I think it's important, especially on a day like this. This is the first day of the year. A lot of people are still celebrating New Year's Eve. Some people are probably hungover right now from New Year's Eve. And some people are still in denial that tomorrow you got to go back to work. But this quote I want to share with you today: sacrifice now. Celebrate on a higher level later. Sacrifice now and celebrate on a higher level later. Wow. See, here's what I know. You could have been doing anything else tonight, but you decided to come and work on your personal development. You decided to spend an hour of your time learning the keys, the skills, and the attributes you need to get to the next level of your greatness so that you can be unstoppable. You probably sacrifice time with your friends. You sacrifice time with your family. You sacrifice time away from the TV. Whatever it was, you invested in yourself. And this investment and investing in the next 10 nights of this web series is going to pay off for you. I guarantee you, I promise you, if you don't get anything else in 2018, what you sacrifice now at the beginning of 2018 will allow you to celebrate greater at the end of 2018. You can take that to the bank. Recognize that if you want to have what other people don't, you're going to have to do the other things now that other people won't. It's just that simple. Sacrifice now, celebrate later, fight the fear and do it anyway. Don't be a failure, but be willing to fail and follow the success formula of start, learn, fail, succeed. Start, fail, learn, succeed. If you follow the success formula and you follow me here at Unstoppable Thoughts by Coach Terrance, then I guarantee you that 2018, you will find yourself living the unstoppable life. Thank you for your time. Come back again tomorrow night where we will be talking about the second attribute necessary to living the unstoppable life. And that is just a simple statement of never giving up. So that's my time. Thank you again. Thank you also for your comments and for your shares. Please go ahead and share the replay of this so that other people can catch it and understand that they can start now living the life that they don't want to live, but living the life that they were destined to live, that they can move from the past of 2017 into their purpose in 2018. And as always, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, don't just make it a great day. Make it an unstoppable day. Take care.